Hello everyone, so today's really a bit more of a chatty kind of talk about masterpieces. So the word masterpiece gets a little overused, I think. There are some people who describe almost everything that they quite like as a masterpiece. And I think that it's an important word to be reserved when something is really exceptional. So I very rarely use the word masterpiece when I'm talking about perfumes. And if you think about it, it's like the word, or what's the word? It's like when people say, oh, I've got OCD because I like to keep my house tidy. You probably aren't diagnosed with OCD, you just like things to be tidy. But people overuse that term so much. But it's a diagnosis, it's a medical condition, it's a life debilitating condition. So we're going off track, but I don't think masterpiece should be used every time a fragrance is just good, because otherwise pretty much everything is going to be a masterpiece. So I thought I would show you some fragrances I love. I think they're amazing, but I don't call them masterpieces. And then I'm going to show you a few fragrances that I genuinely believe are masterpieces, and they're not necessarily my favorite perfumes, but there's a reason why I think they're masterpieces. So well, let's just get on with it. Oh, I've forgotten one. Bugger. Right, so I'm going to start with the fragrances I love that I don't consider to be masterpieces. So, first one, Ormonde Jayne's Byzance. I only received this in January and I've used that much. I've given a couple of little samples away, but I've actually used that much because I love it so much. It is the most beautiful vanilla, fruity, feels like a fruity floral, but I don't think there's any florals, but it feels like that. It's got a little freshness to it. It's got a lovely hint of citrus, but it's more about the sort of sweet to spicy fruitiness of it. There's something so addictive about this. I really love it, but I do not consider it to be a masterpiece. It's very well done. The blending is lovely. The ingredients smell gorgeous. There's nothing I would change about it, but it's not that unique. It's not that, how do I say? I mean, it is special, but it just doesn't quite make it, in my opinion, as a masterpiece. It's perhaps a little frivolous because it's quite sweet. Not everyone would like the level of sweetness in here. The notes used, again, not that unusual. So yes, I absolutely love this. I'm smashing it out. Like, I'm wearing it so often. Really addictive scent. Really love it. But in my opinion, it's not a masterpiece. This one's very new to my collection. I wore through a sample, fell head over heels, had to buy a bottle, and it's called Iris Shot from Olfactive Studios. It's from their Sepia range. It's an Iris Soliflor. Perfumer is Dominic Ropion. He is going to feature very shortly. Dominic Ropion is a genius, and I absolutely love this, but it's not a masterpiece, and I'll tell you why. It's quite simple, really. It's not perfect. When you wear it, I love the combination. There's almond, it's very musky, there's lots of iris. I think there's a tiny hint of vanilla in the dry down as well. There's some cardamom, it's a little bit spicy. I think this could be a masterpiece, but it falls down a little bit a few hours in, it goes a little sharp and a little bit hairspray like on my skin, and I just don't think it's perfect. So therefore it's not a masterpiece. But the notes in here are stunning. The iris note is stunning. The way it's used with the gourmand element of the almond, it's lovely and fluffy, and it's just perfection, but it's not perfection all the way through. There's just this period that's a little sharp and not that great, and therefore it's not a masterpiece. This is one of my favourite fragrances. It's what I call my signature scent, my Insolence. I have talked about it a lot on this channel. It's from Guerlain. It's a flanker to the original Insolence, discontinued now. It is beautiful. There's no moment in here that's not perfect, like with Iris Shot. There's nothing in here I would change. There's no sharpness. Everything's blended very lovely together. It has quite a big dose of vanilla, and it smells like a really good vanilla. It doesn't smell like it's just the very sweet vanillin. It does smell special, but it's kind of another one that's it's overdone. You know, it's a fruity floral at the end of the day, a fruity floral gourmand. It's very pretty. It's going to be mass appealing. Might be too sweet for some palates. Nothing that unique. It's just a very, very well done for its category, but I wouldn't go so far as to call it a masterpiece. But I absolutely love it. It's just, in my opinion, it's not a masterpiece. Oh, I nearly dropped it. And the last one that I do not consider to be a masterpiece that I absolutely love is Tyger from Francesca Bianchi. This is in my opinion, this is the least complex of the Francesca Bianchi perfumes. And I think I could have brought the Lover's Tale into this as potentially a masterpiece, because of the way that is crafted, the unusual ingredients that are so lovingly blended together, the juxtaposition of sort of leathery suede with the sweeter iris and the other florals. Everything in that perfume is pretty amazing, and that potentially could be a masterpiece, but it is a little bit jarring and it's not for everyone. So I decided not to bring that one in. But Tyger is my genre of perfume. This is perfumery that I love. It's honeyed white florals on a really gorgeous ambery sweet vanillic base. It's the most linear out of the Francesca Bianchi perfumes in that it doesn't change a lot on the skin. It's not that it doesn't change at all, but any changes are very, very slow and careful. So for me, it's probably not complex enough for me to consider it a masterpiece, but it is amazing perfumery. It's beautiful and I love it, but I just don't put it in a masterpiece category. So that's Tyger. So now we're going to talk about fragrances I do consider to be masterpieces, and we'll start with my favourite perfume ever in the world, and it's Embers by Teone Reinthal. I have talked about this one a lot. Why is this a masterpiece? I'll tell you why. It's because it's a combination of lots of different things. The most stunning ingredients ever. The most beautiful vanilla note. This vanilla is special tinctured vanilla beans from some exotic land. They give off a slightly cherry, almost cherry almond nuance. There is 7.5% Mysore sandalwood. There's a little bit of rose. It's cozy. Oh, it's so good. So the ingredients are amazing. They are out of this world amazing. But not only that, they are blended to perfection. Everything works together. There's nothing jarring. There's nothing out of line. There's no jumps from one thing to another. This is all natural, but everything blends so well. It's like magic. It's actually like magic. Normally with naturals it's very difficult to get the blending so smooth. There's usually going to be some sharpness, some things that just don't blend together, because a lot of the synthetics help the naturals to blend together. They help the composition to come together, and without those synthetics, a perfumer, Teone, has managed to create this beautifully blended concoction of the most beautiful magical ingredients. The development on the skin is lovely. It's not taking steps, it's not jarring, it's just softly changing on your skin. It is wonderful. It's a journey, and I believe this is a masterpiece. Have you tried Embers? Let me know. Now, another one that I'm really loving is Bukhara from Gallivant, and I consider this to be a masterpiece. And that is simply because, well, it's not simply because, it's a combination of different factors. First of all, the most beautiful ingredients, the ambrette, the iris, this just gorgeous muskiness. The way the jasmine and spices are blended in so that you don't even kind of notice them. They do something to the composition, but you'd never go, oh yeah, it smells like a jasmine fragrance. Oh yeah, I can smell the spice. It's just this thick cloud of wonderfulness that I've never smelt before. If you like musky things, then you should try Bukhara. If you like iris, you should try Bukhara. Perfumer is Ralph Schweiger. It's a master perfumer, and this is the way that it's blended, the development on the skin. As it goes on your skin over time, it just gets this hint of a sugariness about it. Not in a big way at all, but almost like just a dusting, a really tiny fine dusting of sugar is thrown into the mix. This is a magical perfume. It does take you on a journey. It has wonderful development. It's very smooth. It's just lovely. I believe that this is a masterpiece. Bukhara. I think a lot of people are going to agree with this one. Portrait of a Lady. So this is a Dominique Ropion fragrance for Frederic Malle. Very, very well known. Most of you probably have tried it or would have heard of it. And I think this is a good example, because I'm saying this is a masterpiece, but I don't wear it very often. It's not that versatile because it's such a big fragrance. It's very loud. It's a statement fragrance for me. This isn't an everyday scent. It could become a bit wearing because it's so loud, but it is a masterpiece. It really is. It's a rose perfume. It's rose, incense, spices. I get a petrichor note from it, which is like rain on hot pavement kind of scent. And the rose is big. It's a big rose note in here. There's no mistaking it. And I think there's a little bit of vanilla blending it all in as well. It's really well blended, but it's bold. This is a big, so a lot of what I've shown you today are not really that bold. They're very smooth, and they have their beauty is in their delicacy, their subtlety, the gentleness of the blending. This is different. This is a big bold statement, a big blousy rose, quite strong spices, quite dry spices, and patchouli. A decent amount of patchouli in here. So for me, yeah, I don't wear it that often because it's so bold. I mean, this is a perfect night out fragrance if you're really getting dressed up. It's amazing. It's crazy. You get a big bubble of scent around you. So yeah, this to me is a masterpiece because of how it's so bold, and yet it smells so good. Everything works together. Sort of incense is the dryness of the spices and the incense, and then you've got this kind of like wet rose and a little bit of sweetness from some vanilla, or maybe even a little touch of tonka, something like that. It's something else. It's something to be tried. I think no matter where you are in your fragrance journey, if you haven't tried Portrait of a Lady, regardless of whether you like the sound of the notes, I think it's a must try, just to experience it. It's an experience, and that's why it's a masterpiece. Now, another perfumer to look out for when you're looking for exceptional fragrances is Bertrand Duchefort. He is prolific. There's a lot out there, and I'm not saying everything he's ever made is a masterpiece, of course not. This, in my little travel size, this is, in my opinion, a masterpiece, and another one I think that a lot of people will agree with me on, and it's Chypre Palatain. So it's for MDCI, and it's got about 1 million notes. For me, the main focus is when you get to the dry down, this sticky, sweet labdanum note. This is a gorgeous, gooey resin fragrance. There's loads of florals. It's a little bit sharp. This, when you first spray it, is almost too much. It's like a cacophony of notes fighting each other. Like, imagine a crowd, a scramble of all these notes, and they're punching each other out, and they're fighting, and they're rolling on the floor. There is everything in here. It's sweet-ish, it's floral-ish, it's green-ish, it's resiny-ish. Everything's like fighting each other, and you might think, oh, that's a bit much, I don't think I could wear that, and that is certainly what I thought the first time I tried it. But you just wait. You just wait, and not very long at all. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Something magic happens. A peace descends upon the crowd. The scramble is over. And before you know it, all these people, all these notes that were fighting are suddenly making love. It is like beauty in motion. What happens when suddenly all these notes that were fighting each other are suddenly in harmony, and it's almost indescribable, the scent on your skin. If you just wait for it, it just gets caramelly, but it doesn't smell like a caramel, it doesn't smell like a gourmand, but it's like all these notes, first they were fighting, then they're hugging, then they're making love, and now, I don't know, they're all melting into each other, into this gooey, sticky mess. What the hell am I saying? I don't know. This is just amazing. You have to try it. It's another one with Portrait of a Lady. You just have to try it. You might not like it, but please put it on your skin, and please wait. Wait for all those notes to stop fighting and do what they want to do, you know, because it's something special. This is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it is a masterpiece, 100%. 100%. My final fragrance then is another Dominique Ropion, because he is quite good. He's quite good at making perfumes, Dominique Ropion. And I'm talking about Alien for Thierry Mugler. I've got some flankers. This is the Taste of Fragrance one. That's the gourmand version. They're my favourites. The Essence Absolute, Taste of Fragrance, and the Liqueur de Parfum, because they are the super kind of gourmand sweet versions. And I absolutely love them. But the masterpiece that I'm talking about is the original Alien. That is a classic fragrance that has stood the test of time, still as relevant today as it was when it was released, whenever that was, I can't remember. I'll put the year here. Alien is another big, bold perfume, which is what Dominique is definitely kind of famous for. And much like Portrait of a Lady, Alien's got balls. Alien is huge. Alien will potentially wear you. It wears me. Some people wear Alien with confidence and it works. My friend Debbie wears Alien, and it suits her down to the ground. It's very big, it's very bold. You smell her coming from 10 feet away. But Alien has this crazy jasmine sambac note in it. It doesn't smell like, a lot of jasmine perfumes will smell like, or they might remind you a little bit of walking along the street and passing a jasmine bush. They'll smell very natural, heady jasmine, beautiful. This jasmine is, it's almost like, I mean, the fragrance is called Alien, and it's almost like you took the jasmine bush from some beautiful place in the Mediterranean. It had an alien abduction. Aliens came down, they took this jasmine bush and they took it back to their planet, and they decided to make hybrids from it, or they kind of tried to clone it but make it more alien. They mated the Mediterranean jasmine with maybe a Martian version of jasmine, and then they grew that, and then they brought that back down to earth, and Dominic Ropion decided to tincture the jasmine leaves of this alien jasmine bush and use them in his fragrance. It's an amber jasmine predominantly, but it's something about it's just the craziness of the jasmine, the boldness of the perfume, but it's all so well blended. I don't think you can deny that Alien is a masterpiece. There's nothing else like it. Then there wasn't anything like it when it came on the market, and there hasn't really been anything like it since, and I genuinely believe it's a masterpiece. So that's it. I've gone on far too long as per, and I would love you to share with me what you consider to be masterpiece perfumes. Let me know if you agree or if you disagree with what I've said here. What makes a masterpiece perfume for you, and what is what out of your collection, which is the one you're most likely to describe as a masterpiece? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video.